Oh my goodness. I forgot to turn on the sound. I'm so sorry. I forgot to turn on the sound. I haven't had my coffee yet. I've got my ice cappuccino, iced coffee. Sorry about that technical difficulty. So that ran. Turn on the sound. Yeah, there we go. The sound is working great. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, retired in Southeast Asia. Welcome to the Midweek Podcast. Today we're going to talk about if I had control of your life, your finances, how would I retire you in 10 years? How could I do that? This is what I did. So we're going to talk about that, okay, today. I want to say thank you to everyone who's joining. Wow. Can I tell you something about the analytics of the channel? It is incredible. I cannot believe how great the channel is doing. Like, I'm freaking out every time I look at the analytics. I look at the analytics and I'm like, I should have done this I was thinking about doing this 2 years ago, but I kind of like, I'll give my old channel another chance. Man, I should have done this years ago. But I'm in a position now to actually move the channel in the right direction. Before it wasn't really, I don't think I would have had the content for this type of channel. So I'm really glad you're joining. I'm really glad everyone takes the time to provide me constructive criticism. I haven't had a troll yet, but I've had people who have been disappointed, and I'm sorry. I mean, I can't be everything to everyone, but I'm going to try my best. But I'm not going to be able to please everyone. So I'm going to try to please, well, first of all, myself, okay? Because I'm doing this for me. And if you like what I'm doing, what is that? If you like what I'm doing and wish to follow me and join me in this adventure, then please do. And I'll do my best to keep you happy and entertained, because that's what it is. I mean, it's infotainment, I think. So I love the people who are taking the time to provide me the constructive criticism. Like Alyssa or Ashley, you made a great point. And let me tell you something, I'm trying my best to focus on a little bit of everything, okay, for everyone. So what is this channel going to do? Well, it's going to talk to you, like we're today, is going to talk to you about the steps I've taken in my past and presently to get to my future. I'm not going to talk about you or what you should do or what you can do or what the cost of living is today, because tomorrow it could change. The rules could change. We could have another pandemic and then everything goes out the window, right? So I want the information to be more about a mindset. Let's get into a mindset. Let's get together as a community. And I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be exploring this in late October, where we can form an online community, like maybe a Discord server, or maybe I can host it myself because I've got enough bandwidth and I've got enough space to host something where like-minded people can join together to form a community that will help everyone. Sorry, I'm just uploading videos and I want to make sure they're not a problem. So I got the old computer right here. This is my old computer. I've had for 8 years. I brought it with me from Korea. I brought the parts with me. I bought the case and the power supply here 3 years ago. But that computer is not, I never used it. But now that I got the new screen, I put the old screens over here, right? And I put one more screen over there to the other desktop table that I have at my workbench, my test bench. because I was doing laptop repair, but that's more of a hobby, not a profession. So this one is running like text messages, SMS, calendar, email, Facebook, Instagram is run off of here. And all my YouTube editing is done on here. Now it's really slow because this one, when I'm doing YouTube editing, I can't play a video game and I can't, it impacts Zoom and stuff like that. So I don't want to cause problems with that. So I'm running 2 separate workstations. And when I go to Cebu, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm taking 2 laptops with me. An older laptop, which I'll do just Zoom. And then the other laptop, which will run everything else. Because I'm not going to have time to play video games and stuff like that. I'm going to be focused a lot on creating content and exercising and socializing with friends. I'm not going to be a hermit. So the channel, every day I wake up and I'm getting more subscribers in one day than I was getting in a whole month. I had a record day of views, hours watched and subscribers. 10 subscribers in one day and hours watched. I can't even remember what it was, but it was incredible. I'm really ecstatic about that. The channel is going great. It's doing well. I hope to get monetized by end of October, November. So in the next 2 months, probably November, December is when it'll happen. But I'm crossing my fingers that the Cebu content will really lift the channel, because I remember last time I was in Philippines, my channel views, subscribers, and minutes watched went up when I was in Cebu for 5 months. I'm going to be doing the same thing now. So on the side note, I finally got my first internet bill since April. So when I came back from Thailand and Vietnam earlier this year, I had a problem with my internet and I was complaining to them about moving from downstairs to upstairs. And I talked with the chief consumer officer. So he was the head guy for all the consumer business. I eventually got the head engineer to take my call and do my order. It was stupid. Why a digital company requires me to fill out a piece of paper as an existing customer to move a box from downstairs to upstairs inside my own home. I don't understand that. Where I have to fill out a piece of paper. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm your customer. I've been your customer for 3 years. Just great. And here's the funny thing. I worked for a telecom company for 27 years. I know how the system works. I know. And he says, yeah, it's antiquated. Changing things takes time, blah, blah, blah. Still is the same. So anyways, I got a bill today. My bill is normally about 15,000 rupees plus tax. So about 55, 60 US dollars plus tax for my internet. It used to be way more than that. It'd be like 110. It's gone down quite a bit because of Starlink. The prices came down. I checked online every single month. I checked online and it always said zero balance, zero outstanding, right? So I was always like, okay, well, I'm not going to call them and tell them. They're telling me my bill is zero. So who am I to argue with them? But mom said, oh, by the way, you might have like an extra bill. And yeah, I'm looking at the bill now. So it's outstanding 107,000. That's for the last couple months. So I'm going to go there and, Yeah, you discount that. That's not my fault. You didn't send me a bill. So it's about $300. I ain't gonna pay it. You didn't send me a bill. Well, I'm not gonna send you a payment. So I owe about $300 or $400. That's what Mom said was going to happen. They'll pay you they'll charge you the outstanding amount. You have to catch up on that bill. I was like, well, I'm not going to pay it all at once. I'm going to pay it month to month. So I owe 5 months. So what I'm going to do is over the course of the next 5 months, I'll just keep paying. I guess that's what I'll do. That's what I'll tell them. So, well, you took you 5 months to send me a bill. Well, it'll take me 5 months to send you the payment. And no late payment charges and no late fees or anything like that. So I got to go over there tomorrow. Oh my God, let me tell you some of the clothes I bought for the trip. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I finally found like linen pants and linen shirt. They're just so comfortable and cool. I found it at Daiso. It's not Diesel, it's Daiso here in Jayala. They also have one in Colombo, but it's amazing. And I'm so happy with the pants that I got that I'm gonna go actually buy another one in a different color. I like the loose fitting, sort of like Miami Vice style. Anyway, thanks again for joining. Guys, why don't you tell me where you're from? Say hi, and where are you from? It'd be really cool to talk to you. That's what I want here. I want to create this community where we help each other. So I want a big shout out to everyone who, like I said before, is commenting, even the ones who are constructive, okay? Like I said before, last couple of days, the videos, I had the settings set wrong. So I apologize for that. That was fixed. The sound, I've fixed that. The background music, I've reduced it. So hopefully it's not going to be a problem. And the content, I'm going to try to make the content a little bit more engaging. But like I said before, I don't write a script. It's just me talking about something I'm passionate about, right? So if you guys want to join in the conversation in the comments, and we can continue the conversation, or maybe have a part 2. So anyways, today we're going to talk about what can you do? Okay, if you're young, okay, what can you do to retire in 10 years? If you're 50, 40, 55, what can you do to retire? Okay, if you have nothing. So let's start with a younger person. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, don't listen to me. I'm not in any way, shape, or form qualified to give financial advice. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to anybody. Especially don't listen to people on the internet. We're all crazy. But take the information you learn and use it as a foundation to either believe it or not believe it. Okay? You have to start somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the general consensus. Like, what is the best way to do this, right? What is the best way to do this? So, okay, if I had control of your life, this is what I would do. So first thing is get out of debt. First thing is don't get into debt, okay? But get out of debt. You cannot do anything without getting out of debt first, okay? So the idea is the same. Stop spending money. Everybody says, oh, you have to save money like 10% or pay yourself for it. No. I am talking from experience. This is what I did. Stop spending money. Okay, it's really hard to improve your job. It's really hard to get a promotion. It's really hard to get a raise. It's really hard to find another job. For God's sakes, do not go to school and incur more debt to get a better job. It's not financially feasible. You're going to get this much of a raise, but you're going to incur this much of debt. It's the stupidest thing you can do. Oh my God. Personally, that's my opinion. Okay. I don't agree with it. Like, just figure out the cost of an MBA versus your pay raise. And it's not guaranteed. If it's guaranteed, then your company will pay for your MBA, which is what my company did when I was working for my company, for Bell Canada. They paid for my MBA and I got promoted. Once I got the MBA, I got the promotion. They said their promotion is contingent on you getting an MBA. And I got it. It's a different time. That was 30 years ago. I don't know if it will be the same today. But stop spending money. That's the trick. Okay? That's the trick to retiring, is stop spending. Stop your streaming services. Stop all your memberships. Stop going to Starbucks. Stop going to the gym. You can do the gym for free. Okay? Stop getting lattes. Stop going out to eat. Stop drinking. Now, is this a sacrifice? Absolutely. Just like going to school was a sacrifice, was an investment. This is an investment in your future. Everything I talk about, you need to calculate what it is the benefit on the back end. We are a society of gimme, 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 now, now, now. And that's where the problem is. Okay, that's the biggest problem we have. It's all about now, now, now. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Okay? I say this. Sacrifice that time for 8 years. Say you're 28 and you've got your job and you're well on the way, you're on the track, right? You're debt free, you're in your job, everything like that. Oh, now it's time to think about getting married. Oh my God, don't do it. If you get married, don't have a ceremony. Why are you spending all that money on one day when you can take that money and invest it in your future? Is the one day important or is your future important? Like, I don't understand that. Okay? Don't spend money. If you're going to date 50-50. We live in a modern world. It's 50-50. There's no, let me buy dinner for you. No. I buy dinner today, you buy dinner tomorrow. It's a 50-50 relationship. Everyone is equal. Okay? Now, I come from a different time. I pay. Even with Lady Sarah, she insists on, I always pay. Not always. She pays for her own way. She pays for 50-50 on everything, but I'll buy dinner as a treat for her because I know how much she loves to go to like nice places. She can afford it, but it's just my style. I buy little things for her. She buys things for me. But it's just the way I was raised. I come from a different generation. So anyway, don't get married. If you do, don't spend money on the marriage. The marriage is not about everybody else or what they see. It's about you too. Okay? All of this stuff that you have to do, the marriage, the ring, the honeymoon, and all of that crap is all about everybody else. It's not about you and her or her and you. Okay? Now I'm bitter because I'm a divorced guy. So the amount of money I spent on my marriage was ridiculous and just might as well just throw money out the window. Get a prenup, split everything 50-50, keep separate bank accounts. And here's one piece of advice I will give you. If you're going to sacrifice at the beginning of your relationship for your future, if you can come to an agreement about that, get 2 separate apartments, studio apartments, across the hall from each other, next door to each other, whatever it is, but 2 separate apartments. Or a 2-bedroom apartment. And do not sleep in the same room together. Have separate time. Keep apart from each other. I like to say this, and think about this for a second. Everything should be done in moderation. Okay? You can't drink every day. That's not healthy. Drinking once a week, it's okay. You can't eat hamburgers every day. Once a month, once a week, it's okay. You can't drink water all day long. You'll die. You will die. You'll drown if you drink water all day long, like 5 or 6 liters or something like that. I don't know what, but it's happened before. Okay. You can't, like, everything should be in moderation. You can't eat sugar or coffee or whatever it is, all in moderation, even sex. It has to be in moderation. So spending time with someone, like people in isolation lose their minds. People in crowds, 24 hours a day, lose their minds. There has to be a happy medium. So spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with someone is a good test of the relationship. That's why Lady Sarah and I get along so well, because we have spent time together. If you want to see if a relationship is going to work at the beginning without like having to invest like months and months and months in dating, go on a trip. Go on a trip. That's one of the most stressful things you can do, is go on vacation, right? Like a 3 to 4 day vacation, and see how stressful, how the other person handles the stress. Don't have kids. Oh my God, the worst investment you could ever make. That's a 30-year investment. It never ends. It never, ever, ever ends. And what kind of a world are we bringing kids into? People say, oh, well, you need somebody to take care of you. No, you don't. You're having a child so they can be your slave when you get old. Oh, well, they'll help me cover my cost, so you can't afford. So all the money you invested, you want them to pay you back, right? Doesn't make sense. Just don't have them and keep the money. Oh, well, you carry on your name. Who's going to remember you after 4 or 5 generations, unless your name is Hitler? What about your DNA? Well, it disappears after 6 generations. Otherwise, we'd all be related, right? After 6 generations, your DNA is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Yes, it's there, but it's so diluted that it doesn't affect the future. Only 2 generations. It's only 2 or 3 generations of DNA that affects the next generation. After that, it's gone. Your DNA has nothing to do with the future. After 4 generations, my kids could be blonde with blue hair, blonde with blue eyes. My DNA will have nothing to do with them. Okay, so for example, let me give you an example. I'm Sri Lankan. Let's say my wife is Filipino, right? And I have a kid. Well, that kid, if they will identify as Filipino Sri Lankan, and they marry another Filipino, well, that kid will identify as Filipino. And then that kid marries another Filipino. Well, those kids are now pure Filipino, because going back 2 generations, 3 generations, it's Filipino. Where's the Sri Lankan? It's gone. They don't even remember. Okay? Especially in a multicultural world that we live in today, in a global society that we live in today, it's going to become crazy diluted. Anyway, don't have kids. It's just the worst investment. Socially, we're supposed to have kids. How has that worked out for people today? Let me ask you that. How's that worked out? The definition of stupid is doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different outcome. Just look around you. Look at all the divorce court TV shows, the alimony, palimony support TV shows that are out. We love watching those people yell and scream at each other. According to the DNA, you are not the father. I mean, come on. We all love that crap. Why do you want to ever get involved in something like that? Oh my God. I've seen some of these things and I'm like, oh, thank God I never had children. Accidentally or on purpose. But then sacrifice. So like move into the smallest place you could find for the cheapest amount of money. And then don't spend any money. No air conditioner, no heating, minimal heating. Eat cheap food, healthy but cheap food. Take care of your health so you don't have to worry about going to the doctor. Exercise. You live in a small apartment, get out and exercise. Okay? Your apartment is to shower, change your clothes, and sleep. Otherwise, you should not be in your apartment. You should be out. You should be experiencing life, meeting with friends, going to the park, going to the park, exercising, going to free museums, expanding your mind, going to the library, reading books. Don't need a Netflix account, read a book. Improve your intellect by reading educational books in the library for free. And then come home and go to sleep. Get yourself an unlimited subway pass. Those exist in Korea now. They've existed in Canada. But travel inside the zone. It eats up your time and keeps your mind active, right? Sacrifice. So if you do this, right? So let's put it this way. Let's use US dollars. The average cost to live in Southeast Asia for a single person, a basic lifestyle, is about $1,000. It can be as low as $800. It can be high as $1,500. Okay, depending on the lifestyle you want to live. But at a bare minimum, housing, food, basic essentials, no transportation, no alcohol, minimal medical care, and then visa costs. I haven't really put that into. So it's between $800 and $1,500, depending on, a few factors. So let's make it nice and fair. Let's just for argument's sake, $1,000 a month is what you need to live. How do you earn $1,000 a month? Well, if you can run a business online and can earn more than $1,000 a month, great. You can retire today and become a digital nomad. People do it all the time. But the risk is high. Okay? The risk is high. How would I do it? This is what I would do. So if you're in your 25s, whatever, work, get the business. Let me answer your question in just a minute, LK. Just give me a second, okay? Let me finish my train of thought here. If you are to I lost my train of thought. Sorry. So if you are in your 25s, right, and you're out of university, you're debt free or about to be first get debt free, right? Then what you need to do is you need to sacrifice for a few years, and every penny that you earn goes into savings. We'll talk about what kind of savings in a moment, but you don't spend it, okay? Because it's difficult to improve your salary, it's difficult to get another job, and you need to sacrifice. You did for 4 or 5 years to go to university, okay? Just do another 6 to 8 years. It's not that long. It goes by like that, okay? And if you do that, and you need $1,000 a month, let's pretend your savings account, whatever you invest in, pays you 10% profit a year. To earn $1,000 in interest, you need $100,000 at 10%, right? My math is right? Yeah. You need $100,000 in the saved to generate passive income. Whether that's stock, whether it's crypto, we're not talking about what kinds of investment. We're just talking a concept here, an idea, okay? So if you can earn $1,000 a month from your savings and you never touch your savings, right? Then you're okay. You can pay for your living. And then you can continue working to increase your capital so that your capital grows with time. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that you spend more. No. You keep spending less. As you get older, your savings will grow and your income will grow. Don't spend it all. Put it back into the investment. Spend it when you want, when you need to. Spend it when you need to, but don't start living a better lifestyle. Keep living that like minimal lifestyle. I mean, treat yourself. Yes, treat yourself by means, treat yourself, right? But don't go crazy. Don't spend the capital. Make the capital grow until you reach retirement. Then when you reach retirement, that's the bonus that you're going to get for your medical costs for when you're 70 or 80 years old. Because you're going to need a lot more money to take care of you when you're old, because you're going to have to pay somebody to take care of you. Your kids aren't going to take care of you if you do have them. They have their own lives and their own stresses. Okay? And it's not up to them to pay for your retirement. Now, if you're in your 40s, 50s, or whatever, this is what I did. I sacrificed. I did the same thing, but I did a little bit differently. Because I was in a higher earning bracket. I made more per hour or salary than someone who's in their 20s or 30s, because I've got the experience, right? So what I did is, after COVID started, I figured, I really need to buckle down and figure out what I'm going to do. So what I did is I just head first jumped into working my butt off. I remember last year at this time, I was working 60 hours a week. I was working 10 hours straight, back to back to back classes. I had a 10-minute break between classes. I would start at like 7 or 8 in the morning and finish at 10 at night. It was ridiculous, but I was making a crap ton of money. Every penny of it went into savings. And I stopped spending money. I moved to Sri Lanka. I don't spend any money here. Well, minimum money. I was spending $3,000 to $5,000 a month in Korea. Here, I'm spending less than $500. So I have calculated that my yearly spend, including flights, because I have to travel at least once a year to renew my visa, is about $1,200 US a month. So visa costs, tourist visa, traveling and renting, everything is about $1,200 US a month. Now, my trip to Cebu, I'm going to see, I already know what my expenses are because they're set already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explore the opportunity or the options of moving there next year. And I'm going to find a place for $200 to $300 a month. And if I can find someone who will allow me to pay them a year in advance or 2 years in advance to give me a discount, and that's what I'm going to do. All right. So LK, brother, I'm going to assume that you are Sri Lankan. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm an immigrant. I'm Sri Lankan citizen, but I've never lived here. I've only lived here for 3.5 years. Prior to that, I lived in South Korea and Canada. I visited here as a tourist, but up until 5 years ago, I didn't even have my citizenship. When I came to Sri Lanka, I was a Sri Lankan by blood, but I didn't have Sri Lankan citizenship. Only 5 years ago did I get my citizenship. Right? So I'm a Sri Lankan citizen. I have my NIC. I have my TIN. I pay taxes. Right? I pay income taxes. I own property. Okay. I'm going to own a vehicle. I'm going to buy a motorcycle next year. But I don't know about that. When I do travel, I get treated really well. Now, is it because I look like a foreigner? I don't know. I don't experience that because I don't really go out all that often. I live in Jayala. So whenever I go out and about here in town, let me tell you something. Everywhere I go, the local Sri Lankans always treat me well. I go to PNS. I did a video on it just a little while ago. The interaction I get from locals is incredible. Now, they assume that I'm Sri Lankan, but I'm a foreigner, or like a non-Sri Lankan, right? And the problem is, I don't know what the problem is. It's because I've never lived here. I don't know what the cultural past is. I mean, I can make an assumption as a sociologist is that it comes from the caste system that is prevalent in Southeast Asia. In South Asia. in the Indian subcontinent, there is a caste system that was prevalent in the history of our civilization, and that continues on. There's a financial situation as well. Regardless of whether it's Sri Lanka or Philippines or Thailand, the people who have money believe that they're better than the people without it. And that's a problem in our society. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to change that. If you can come up with a way to change it, then all the more power to you, my friend. That's why, I don't really worry myself about changing the world. I only worry about changing my little part of it and the people who are in that circle. I'm too old. I'm too tired. And I personally, it's callous to say I don't care. There's 8 billion people on the planet. 50% go. It's not going to change the world, really. It's not going to change my world. Things happen in the world every single day. People die every single day. People are wronged every single day. But my life hasn't changed. And it's a bad, bad thing. I make a joke about it. I said, if I was president of the world, I would start lining people up against the wall and ask them if they're going to behave. And if they say no, I shoot them. Is that right? Is that wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely wrong. But that's the only solution we as humans understand is a threat to our lives or our family. We don't do things because they're right. We do things because we fear the penalty of doing something wrong. Every day we make decisions on whether to do the right thing or to do the wrong thing. And if we had a chance, we would probably do the wrong thing because it's usually easier. But we know, and then we have a code. Can I get away with it? Or do I believe in a higher power that will not let me get away with it? And that's religion. So we have a moral code. I have a moral code. I don't like doing wrong things. But let me tell you, I will be very honest with you. If I found a briefcase full of money, I would never return it. Absolutely not. Never in a million years will I will hide it and I will launder it and I will make sure that I benefit myself and my friends. Is that wrong? Absolutely. But if I can get away with it, I will. Now, I will make attempts to figure out whose money it is without giving it away. If it belonged to a church or a poor person, absolutely I'd return it. Right? Karen, good to see you back. Thank you so much for joining. Remind me again, you're from Utah, right? 10 years from now, I have a plan. Excellent question, Karen. Excellent. I love that question. That I haven't spoken to about that. So I have a short-term plan, which is the next 2 to 3 years. Then I have a near-term plan, which is the following 2 to 3 years. And then I have a long-term plan, which is the next 10 to 20 years after that. So 2 to 3 years plus 3 years. So 5 to 6 years. And then the next 10 years. So basically up until I'm 60 is right now. Then to 65, 70 is another plan. And then 70, 80, 90. So I have 3 stages of my life. So near term, nothing's changing. I'm exploring, I'm traveling, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to retire, and I'm going to continue working as much as I can to earn as much money as I can. At 60, when I hit pension, that's when I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to make the decision of where to live. 90% of the time. Where I'm going to make my home base. And it's leaning towards the Philippines. Where in the Philippines, I don't know. And then I'm going to start exploring, what visa do I get? Do I keep doing the tourist visa or do I do a retirement visa? What are the options? What are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? Philippines right now, I can stay for 2 or 3 years on a tourist visa. Then I have to leave for 24 hours and I come right back. There's costs, investments, marriage and all of that stuff. We're going to talk about that next month when I'm in the Philippines. I'm going to do a lot of videos on that. I personally see myself, because I don't have to take care of mom and dad. I don't have to be here. There's someone here now taking care of them. I've, you know, it's sad to say, Dad's going to be 88 next week. Mom is 80. She's going to live to be 100. I don't have to worry about her. She's healthy as nuts. Dad's getting older. He's got a few years left in him, maybe. I'll be happy if he lives another 5 to 10 years. He's lived a long time. He's almost 90. That's a long time, man. Let me tell you. But he's tired. He's tired and he's bored. And he just, you get to the end and you're just like, I've done everything. I don't need to do anything more. So, if he goes, I'll be happy because he believes he's being reincarnated. So he'll be happy, right? So my point is, I've said my goodbyes. And that was one of the reasons I came back, was to make sure I'm here to kind of say goodbye. Because if something happens, you want to leave it in a good way, right? So the next week or so I'm spending with Mom and Dad, and I'm doing all the things I need to do to ensure that the last memory, that if it happens, Mom and Dad both have good memories of me before, and if anything happens to them, right? Heaven forbid. But I'm only a few hours away, so I'll hop on a plane and come right back. But I mean, if Dad goes while I'm gone, what can I do? There's nothing I can do, and for me to fly back just for a funeral doesn't make sense. It's not that important to Mom, and it definitely is not important to Dad because he's gone, right? So it's only important to the family, and there's only Mom. She's the only person I care about. My brother's not flying from Canada. That's a full day and a half of flying. He's not coming back. Mom will tell him not to come. If she goes first, I'll definitely come back because somebody has to take care of Dad. We have to make sure he's properly taken care of. But she won't. Her family, God, man, those people live forever. But I see myself living in a country. And somebody asked me why I don't want to live in Sri Lanka. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll move down south. But the problem is that I really don't want to live here. I want to live closer to my friends. I have friends in Philippines. I have friends in Thailand. I have friends in Korea. Living in the Philippines, my friends in Korea can fly down in 4 hours. Direct flight. Living in Thailand, my friends can fly down. Direct flight in 6 hours. Living in Vietnam, my friends can fly down in 5 hours. Direct flight. So, I mean, when I'm in Cebu next week, 5 friends are joining me from Korea over the course of the month. Right? Who knows how many people are going to come for Christmas, right? And I have friends in Cebu. My best friend lives there. He's married and living there. And he's begging me to come and stay with him, right? So, because he's losing his mind. He's American. And he gets tired of the Filipinos after a little bit, but that's a different story. But, as I remember, Karen, when we were talking before, you're younger, and you're thinking about retiring. So you never answered me the last time because I think you dropped off. But are you married? Do you have kids? What's your age range? And why did you think about Sri Lanka? Because I'm assuming you're not Sri Lankan. But as I've said before, Sri Lanka is a huge cultural change. If you're coming from the United States, especially a central state that is not as multicultural. Well, again, I don't know. I'm making assumptions, okay? I'm talking about when I came from Canada, right? I'm using those experiences, but things may be different today. So maybe if you could enlighten me a little bit as to your ideas, I can kind of give you my opinion, right? Not advice, but my opinion. What age range are you? 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s? Do you have a family, married, kids? Why Sri Lanka? What's your ethnic background? Oh yeah, that's right. You're as white as it gets. Okay, I remember. Sorry. Karen, I really need to apologize to you and to everyone. I so bad with remembering details of people. I really should write it down, and I'm going to do that. I promise you, I'm going to do that eventually. I need to get a note system and figure out the best way to take notes of my friends, my new friend Karen from Utah. But I think I do remember the last time we were online. I guess you dropped off because you were busy. But what's your age range? What's your family situation, and why Sri Lanka? Right. So, because the reason I want to know that is because I'd like to understand why you chose Sri Lanka and why you didn't choose the Philippines. The Philippines is a much more American-friendly country. They actually provide a better visa for Americans than they do anyone else, a retirement visa. 38 and single, let me tell you something. You are in the perfect place. Let me tell you, my friend. Are you on track to retire? What's your retirement plan? Okay. First of all, are you out of debt? That is the most important thing. Get out of debt as quickly as possible. Do not do consolidation. Take your highest debt and throw all the money at it. Okay? Pay the minimums on everything else. Throw all the money at the highest debt. Okay? And then when that's paid off, go to the second one. Okay? Don't pay the lowest amount one. Well, I mean, yeah, if you have one bill for $300, get rid of that. But if you have a bill for like $15,000 and it's got 18% interest, pay that off. If you have a car and a car loan, get rid of it. Buy a POS Pinto for $2,000. Okay? You don't need a car to show off to other people. You need a car to take you from A to B. Those people aren't going to help you when you need retirement. Okay? So there's no reason we live in a society where we show, and I'm guilty of it, where we need to show off and flex. Okay? One of the greatest things I love about flying business class is I walk past everybody else. It's one of the greatest joys I have in my life. Right? And it's a flex. It's conceited, it's selfish, it's irresponsible, it's stupid, it's childish, absolutely. Right? But I mean, I can afford it, right? I've reached that level where I'm independent, financially secure, and I have the extra funds to do it. And I lived in Dubai for 4 years and had to deal with a lot of Filipinos. Absolutely. And let me tell you something. No matter what country a person is from, there are good, there's bad, and then there's ugly. Okay? As a Canadian, okay, I've been a Canadian from the age of 6 to 38. I lived in Canada from the age of 6 to 37. I'm still a Canadian citizen. Unfortunately, I wish I could give up my Canadian citizenship for the crap that's going on over there right now. I don't agree. But traveling with a Canadian passport is one of the most amazing things. I can't really travel on my Sri Lankan passport. It's very difficult to travel on my Sri Lankan passport. But traveling on my Canadian passport is like, I don't even have to think about it. I just go. I'll tell you a very quick story. When I lived in Korea, so I lived in Korea for 18 years, up until 3 years ago. And I have a Korean permanent residence. I had a girlfriend who was Russian. And I said, let's go to Japan for the weekend. Because it's like $50. It's nothing. It's cheap as heck. And it's like 90 minutes away by plane. And she goes, I can't go. I'm like, why? She goes, Russians cannot get tourist visas in Japan. And I'm like, what? Yeah, there's a political issue with the islands in the north. Business visas, yes. Okay. Education visas, yes. But tourists, no. And I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it. And then the same thing with my Mongolian girlfriend. at the time. She had to prove financial and everything. I just said, forget about it. Just forget about it. It was more trouble than it was worth. Me, I can just go anywhere and land. Financially independent, great. No debts. Karen, congratulations. Way to go. Beautiful. 38 and no debt. I love it. I love hearing that. Congrats. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. I was finally debt free at 38, 39. When I left Canada, sold everything and moved to Korea, that's when the first time in my life I was debt free. And we're talking about high six figures debt, like without the mortgage, high six figures. What we're talking about 22 years ago. You have visited Sri Lanka. Okay, great. And I love that you think Sri Lanka is great. Now, here's my advice, and I'm going to be very serious about this. I usually don't give advice, but I'm going to tell you something that you really, really need to do. You need to come to Sri Lanka in the off season. Now, I'm sure you've found a few places that you like. Colombo, Kandy, Nuwara, Aragambe, Gal, Weligama, Mirissa. You've traveled all over and you found a few places that you like, because whether it be a beach or the mountains, whichever one you like, you need to go there in the off season. Okay? You need to go there during the rainy season to see what it's like full time. Yeah, you were there during the summer season, which is great, right? It's beautiful. Everything's lovely. There's lots of tourists, there's lots of food, there's lots of sun, and everyone is having a great time. But when the monsoons come for 6 weeks and the tourists are gone, what's it like? And when there's no electricity for 3 days and the food shortages because they can't transport anything, what's it like? So that's what I'm going to recommend, is you come in the off season, not the full off season. Okay. So let's pretend the off season is March till October, and stay till March, April, so you can get a little taste. Because you don't want to be miserable. And if you've been all over Sri Lanka, pick 3 places, and then kind of stay 1 month in each place to get a taste of what it's like to live in each one of these places during the off season. What is it really like? Can I live here? That's my advice. And it's regardless of whether it's Sri Lanka or Philippines or Thailand, I recommend everyone experience the off season. Okay? When you live in a tropical country, we only have 2 seasons. We have high season and low season, dry and wet. And if you've never lived in a tropical country, you don't know what it's like. You think like summer, fall, winter, and spring are beautiful? No. It's not when you live in a tropical country. It's completely different experience. I've lived in both. I've lived in 4-season countries and I've lived in tropical countries. And I'm telling you right now, living in a tropical country during the rainy season is one of the most miserable things you can ever experience. Okay. Whereas it can't be as bad as the cold Utah winters. Yeah, but you're indoors with the doors and windows closed and the heater on. Okay. You can't do that in a tropical country because, number one, the air conditioner is going to bleed you dry. Right. And if the power goes out, you got no air conditioner and it's raining and it's 32 degrees Celsius. What are you going to do? The humidity is 100% and you're dying, right? So my advice to you is experience Sri Lanka, or anyone who's out there, whatever you're doing, wherever country you're going to. So let me take a step back. At your age, before you retire, you need to figure out which country. And that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I've been traveling to Thailand, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and Philippines. And each time I do a different city and I experience what it's like to live there. Is this a place where I would enjoy the social life, the food, the people, and then finally the weather? Then I narrowed it down. I've soured on Thailand. Okay. I soured on Thailand because, especially Pattaya, because that's where I have friends there, and it's close to all the beaches and everything. Krabi is too expensive. Phuket is crazy. Bangkok is ridiculous, and Pattaya is just becoming too much for me right now. What I've seen is just not what I'm interested in, and Vietnam and Philippines are much more attractive. I didn't like living in Subic Bay in the Philippines, but my friend who I lived with, Tim, you guys are going to meet him next week, 1 week from today. 1 week from today. I pack up and I leave in 7 days, 6 hours. So 6 hours from next week when I do my live stream, 6 hours later, I'm off to the airport. I'm leaving the house. So I'm working right up until like 3 hours before I have to leave. My last class is like 3 hours before, where I pack up the laptop and then take off. I mean, I don't really need to take hours to pack. I mean, obviously my clothes and stuff I'll pack the day of, or starting this weekend I'm going to start packing. But the laptop and the computer and the cables and stuff takes 5 minutes to pack that away. I've done it before. So I've kind of liking Philippines more because of the visa. Now, I don't know about your retirement visa here in Sri Lanka. When I return to Sri Lanka, I'm going to start doing like visas, because I'm not going to be here. So I'm going to be focused on Thailand. But Karen, you lived here for 3 years. Your dad was a diplomat. Excellent. In Kandy. So Kandy is unique because it's cool. It doesn't have the heat, but the problem is it doesn't have the beach. And I love the ocean. Now, I'm also, from what I remember, because I've been to Kandy a couple of times, is that the cost of living is a little higher because they have to transport everything up the mountain, right? So, seafood, that kind of thing is a little bit more expensive. And also like, food products are more expensive. And, you have to have warmer clothes when you live up there. I don't like it. It's too cold for me. I love it warm. Celsius, let me give you in Fahrenheit. I prefer anything above anything between 29 and 31 Celsius. So anything between 84 and 90 Fahrenheit. I kind of prefer it on the higher end, like 30, like probably about 88 Fahrenheit is my preferred, with a humidity of about 70%. I love it. Now, LK, I appreciate your opinion, LK, but I'm going to have to say no to that. In the tourist areas, yes. Okay. Because the people here are desperate for money. Not that they're going to cheat you out of it. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't think you're trying to say that either. But I'm going to say this. Everywhere I've gone, they know I'm rich. They know I'm not a local. But no one has tried to take advantage of me, and everyone has been kind. I've even been offered things for free. Okay, because of the kindness. And I live in a city. Right? I'm not in a tourist zone. Right? But I still, walking down the street in my hometown, I get asked for money by everyone because they can see that I'm not a local. Right? I mean, I look Sri Lankan, but I don't dress it. I don't look it. So, but LK, I'm going to have to say, I don't agree with what you're saying. You have a perfect right to say it, but I want you to try to be a little bit more open-minded and not stereotype all Sri Lankan people as that. okay? Because I can show you a million YouTube videos of Sri Lankans doing good things, returning wallets that were left on the bus, returning backpacks that were accidentally misplaced or what have you. You know, how many YouTube vloggers I've seen where they've left their wallet in the tuk-tuk and the guy came back looking for them. You know, it's just time and time again, the hearts of Sri Lankan people is bigger than anything I've ever experienced. But there is a serious problem in this country with drugs. And it's sad, but when people are desperate and destitute, they turn to alcohol or, you know, or gambling to fill the void in their lives. And it happens in America, it happens in Thailand, it happens in the Philippines, and unfortunately it happens a lot in Sri Lanka. And being that this is a port city, it's very easy to transport those kinds of things. Well, you know, the thing is that my channel isn't about tourism. You know, I've been to tourist places. I've rented a motorcycle twice, and I went up north. I rented a Royal Enfield, a big 350cc Royal Enfield, packed my backpack, and I drove all the way up to Jaffna. And I've ridden all the way to Hikkaduwa as well, another time. And LK, I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just saying that's your truth. I'm also talking truth. I've experienced the good things. I've been lucky that I haven't experienced the bad things, but that's because I'm a seasoned traveler. I've traveled all over the world. I've lived in 10 countries, lived in 10 countries. I've visited over 100, okay? And I have done the tourist thing. So I am aware of the pitfalls, not only in Sri Lanka, but in every single country. Go to Egypt. Go to Egypt and see how well treated tourists are. Egypt is the worst. You know, I was treated like royalty in Vietnam. I had to force my money onto people. They wouldn't take my money for food. I'm like, what are you doing? Take this. Like, you fed me. You know, in a tourist town, right? In Sri Lanka, it's happened the same thing. In Hikkaduwa, I was treated so well. As a I'm a tourist. You know, I haven't had any trouble. Now, obviously, if I'm walking around Colombo train station, Fort train station, you know, someone's gonna try to scam me. But I'm smarter than that. You know, not because I live in Sri Lanka, but because I've traveled the world and I know how to protect myself against people who are willing to take advantage. And that happens in every single country. But Karen, hopefully you're still on. Are you interested in beach or are you interested in countryside or mountains? Like I said, I would suggest to you living for an extended period of time to get the feeling, right? The next thing is to explore via the Sri Lankan embassy in the United States or the consulate in your area. And discuss with them the options for retirement visas. Karen, I am going to, let me see. Karen, can you message me on YouTube with a message to one of my videos, and then I will upload my WhatsApp QR code to you, okay? Or I'll send you my email address, okay? And we can do it that way because I know you got to go. But thanks again, Karen. I truly appreciate you coming on. That's great to see you. Great to hear from you. Truly appreciate it, and I'm really happy that you're thinking about Sri Lanka as a place to retire to. Have a great evening. Thanks again. LK, again, I understand you're frustrated and I understand how you're feeling, but what can we do to change it, right? So if you're expending energy, getting angry and upset, is that going to change it? Are you really willing to allow someone else to control your emotions, to affect you that much? Getting angry, getting upset, getting, vindictive, sort of say. I'm not saying that about you. I'm just saying, like, in general. Does it solve the problem? Or does it cause more problems for you? Because the stress is causing you physical harm. So what I say to you is that do what I did when I was younger. And I created this thing that I used to do to help me get over getting angry about things I could not control, right? You can go protest in the streets, yell and scream. It's not going to change anything. It really isn't. Trust me on this. I'm 56 years old. I've watched protesters. It doesn't change anything. It just gets you on the news, but it doesn't help your cause, right? It just elevates your blood pressure and maybe gets you arrested. I created this thing called SEPS. No, SEP. SEP. Somebody else's problem. So when I got upset at something, I'd be like, can I solve this? No, I can't. So it's somebody else's problem, right? Yep, okay, next. I can't do anything about it. So therefore, I don't let it get me upset. One of the biggest things I had to get used to in Korea was the driving culture, because I used to drive a motorcycle. And I realized after a short time that very quickly that Korean drivers drive the way they do because they haven't been taught how to drive. All of a sudden, one day everybody was allowed to drive and cars were cheap. And all of a sudden everybody drove. You and I, we have had years of watching our parents drive, teaching us how to drive. Imagine a 30-year-old getting a car for the first time, never knowing how to drive. So I say this, in Korea, they drive like it's a game of Tetris. Same thing in Sri Lanka. If there's a slot, they're gonna go in. So in Sri Lanka, I don't get upset when drivers drive the way they do because they don't know any better. And the police don't enforce the law. So me getting upset at somebody, they're just gonna look at me and go, why are you getting upset? Like, you're stupid. Like, you're an idiot. Me trying to explain to them that what they're doing is wrong isn't going to change their mind. Look at what happened in Sri Lanka just last week with that bus that had failed brakes. Nothing's going to change. The government said, oh, we're going to inspect all buses and stuff like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like the Philippines, the corruption in the government, they spent $9 billion on flood control programs, and all of the money was stolen, all of it. Not one project was completed. And that's why the protests are happening in the Philippines right now. Can we change it? No, we can't. So why get upset over it? I'm a happy person. Look at me. Do I look like I'm 60 years old? There's no stress on this face. Look at that. No wrinkles whatsoever. Why? Because I don't let things bother me. I stopped caring. Is that right? Is that wrong? Yeah, probably. Probably. You know, I have a lot of cousins say it's our mission to make the world a better place than when we left. Leave the world a better place than when we found it. Yeah, but it's also my choice to do whatever I want, as long as it's legal. And I choose to do nothing, right? Now, I don't know your situation. You may have family, you may have children, you may have a destiny, whatever. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying this is what I did, right? And thank you for pointing out this so that we can discuss it, right? It's really important that we form a community and not judge, okay? But help each other, okay? That's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we can help each other to be better people, okay? That doesn't mean we have to agree with everything everyone says. We have to understand and respect it and maybe offer a solution like I did, right? I offered a solution. I agree with you. You know what? You have probably been hurt. You have probably experienced some negative things and you're angry and frustrated and you don't know what more to do. And I'm telling you, my friend, I'm telling you, it is a sad, sad world we live in. And if I had the power, I would just eradicate every bad person on the planet. It's just not possible. Okay? Because you cannot change human beings' minds or their character. You can't. It's just not possible. I've tried. Hence why I'm divorced. All right. But, you know, if I could change people's minds, I'd be a millionaire, a billionaire, because I just changed everybody's mind to give me $10, right? So what I'm hoping to, you know, I need to wrap up today because I got to get ready for work. Where are we here? Wow. Over an hour. So another 5-10 minutes. Okay, guys, if you have any questions. LK, like, seriously, brother, please, you know, just, I appreciate you taking the time to join the channel and talk and vent. I understand. Let me tell you something. I was an angry young man, right? When I was younger, I was so angry, I got an ulcer. I hated everything. And then I learned from that experience. And I learned that, you know, honestly, you really can't change the world. Look at it. Look at the way the world is. No matter what government you vote for, they all screw up. Because it's not the leader, it's the system. So what I did is I stopped fighting the system. And I'm going to work within the system to make my life better. Because I don't have kids, I don't have family. I just have a friend who I care about deeply, who I'm going to share the rest of my life with, and I'm going to find a quiet part of the world where I don't have to worry about anything, okay? Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to live without internet. Or I'll have internet, but it'll be like the basic, just to like search for like maybe online shopping or something like that. But no TV, no internet, no radio, no newspapers. I don't care. I have had this dream since I was a young man, since I was my early 20s. And people always said, you know, what is your dream retirement? My dream retirement is being on a deserted island. And I wake up in my hammock and I grab one of the 2 t-shirts I have. I'm wearing a pair of shorts. I grab one of the 2 t-shirts I have. I grab my knife. I put on one of the 2 t-shirts I own. Put it on, grab my knife, cut down a coconut for breakfast, cut down some fruit and papaya and mango for breakfast, have a delicious breakfast on the beach, collect some firewood, right? Fix anything in my little hut that needs fixing, wash my clothes, have a wash, right? And then go in the ocean and catch my dinner. Then clean and cook my dinner. Maybe I have a pet dog or a cat or something like that. And then I go collect firewood, water, wash my clothes, brush my teeth, wash myself, and then go to sleep. That's my life. That's my dream life, right? So I'm a very simple person. And because of that, I don't need to worry about the rest of the world. I don't need to worry about things like that. So I think about things like that. I think about how I can benefit my life and how I can use my experiences to share with you what you can do to achieve a mindset. Now, I'm not giving you specifics. Just how do you turn your mind around from all the noise that is out there? Okay, so I hope that that helps you guys, right? Because that's what I want to do. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be telling you you're right or wrong. I don't want to tell you that this is good or this is bad. I will tell you when I'm telling you something, and you can take that information and you can do with it what you wish. But like in Karen's case, I'm telling her she should definitely, at this point in her life, because she's been to Sri Lanka, she's deciding on Sri Lanka. Now she needs to take the next step to see what is it like living here for a year. Okay, she's done this, the high season. Now she needs to do low season, right, to experience that, whether it be on the beach or up in the mountains. That's something you should do to help you. But guys, I want to say thank you very much. Who else is online? Because I'm going to wrap up unless you guys comment, right? Because I see there's a bunch of you still who just joined. So I'm going to wrap it up in a few minutes unless you have any questions or comments or you want to hear anything. We talked today about how you can achieve retirement in about 10 years. How you can do that. So go back to the beginning and watch that video. I want to say thank you to everybody who watches, comments, likes, shares. Please join the community, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know when videos are coming out and you can be part of the community, because I really want this community aspect, this family aspect of us joining together and sharing ideas. I don't have all the answers. Okay, I'm not the smartest cookie in the barrel. But I've lived a long time. I've experienced a lot of things, and I want to share those experiences. And hopefully you can take that information and help you, and you can add to it. If we can help each other become successful, why do only the rich people become successful? Why can't we? Okay, so that's what I'm here to do. I don't have all the answers, and that's why I'm asking for your help. So please click the link. Join the conversation, subscribe, like, and please comment. That really, really helps the channel, the algorithm, get in front of other people just like you. That's the most important thing. I want to get this channel in front of people like you, people who are interested in this content, okay? People who are supportive. You don't always have to subscribe, okay? I only want you to subscribe if you're actually interested, okay? That's what the algorithm is all about. You can watch, you can comment, but only subscribe if you're truly interested in joining the community. I want this to be a self-supporting place where we can all learn and also, have a little bit of fun. Guys, I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, retire in Southeast Asia. I'm so glad we had a good conversation today. LK, Karen, and I know that Darren and Terry are going to watch this after the fact. I'm surprised Darren isn't on today because he's probably busy. But guys, please enjoy, take care of each other, be good to each other, and remember, learn to live life. Don't let life live you. And most importantly, we are not strangers. We're just friends who haven't met yet. We'll see you all on the other side.